Hey everybody, welcome back to Joe and Tell. I'm Joe, and in today's episode, we're gonna draw the ear. About a week ago, I got a request to show the process in which I use to draw an ear. Now, the ear can be pretty tricky. There's a lot of shadows and interesting shapes in there that make it pretty complex. But I think I've broken it down into some simple shapes that if you follow along at the end, hopefully you'll have something that looks like an ear. Now, I didn't use a reference photo for this drawing, and I probably should have, so I would recommend that you go find a good picture of an ear and use that as your reference. The material list is nothing to write home about. It's the same as last time, although I did use a different eraser because the one at the end of my pencil was terrible. But enough about all that. Let's get into drawing the ear.
So drawing ears can be pretty tricky. They're very organic, and they've got a lot of interesting shapes to them. And most of what makes an ear look like an ear is the shading, which can be tricky. So like previous drawings, I'm going to start out with basically kind of a lopsided egg shape again. And this will be the ear looking at it from the side. Something like that. Hopefully that shows up for you. Okay. Again, it's just kind of an egg shape on its side. And this is going to be the edge of the ear here, and then we're going to make basically a cut through here to make the line of the face. So it's something like that. And then what I'll do is along this line of the face, I'll typically draw a small circle, maybe something like that. And again, these are all very light, remember, so we can erase. These are our construction lines. And then just a little bit lower than that, I'll draw maybe another circle, a little bit bigger, somewhere over here. It doesn't really matter, as long as it's in the general vicinity. Ears are all kinds of different shapes and sizes, so you can be pretty liberal with how you place your shapes. So we've got these two circles in. I'm going to connect these two with like just a bit of a small like curve, almost like a smiley face kind of smile. And then I'm going to do something similar up here. I'm going to curve this in like this. So we've got two circles, almost looks like glasses, and we've got a little bit of a curve up here and then a curve connecting the two, right? We're going to do another curve on this side, but this time it's going to be much larger. It's going to swoop up and come about halfway up the ear. So we'll do a curve like this, something like that maybe. Okay, and then we're going to go in the opposite direction. We're going to do another curve, but we're going to do a curve out like this. It seems a little odd, but that's what we need to do. Okay? Hope you're with me so far. The next thing we want to do is add a little bit of it's going to look kind of like a U or a V. We're going to do something like this here. Again, very light, nice and light drawing. So we'll go back and do darker details later. And then we're going to bring this curve kind of along here and back down to this circle down here. Something like that. Okay? I know it doesn't look like an ear, but it will. So now what we want to do is this is all the interior of the ear, and we want to wrap the interior with another line. And so we're going to start a curve opposite this curve. We're going to start another curve and kind of come up. And I'm going to turn my paper all the way around so it's easier for me to draw. And I'm just going to kind of follow the outer line, but it's going to be about maybe, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch thick away from the outer line. And it can be really wobbly if you want, but it's just going to come down to about this circle here, like that. Okay, so we've got this interior line that goes all the way around, kind of wobbles a little bit, comes down to about this point. We've got this interior U or V shape inside. We've got this curve here that goes up and another curve that kind of comes around. We've got this circle here. We've got the circle here, and they're attached by this curve, and we've got another curve here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this whole thing in this outer shaped drawing I did earlier, but I'm going to make it much darker. So I'm going to come around. I'm starting about halfway up, come around, and it doesn't have to be perfect. And I'm going to come back down, and it can be very lopsided if you'd like. I said ears are all different. So something like that. Okay? It's starting to look a little bit more like an ear. And then what I'll come down, or I'll come back to and do is I'll come back and kind of darken these lines up, and then I'll erase my construction lines. All of this sketchy business and the circles that I drew for the parts of the ear, get rid of these, get rid of them all in the insides. All along the outer edge, I'm going to get rid of this stuff that helped me draw the shape overall. Okay, and get rid of the headline if you'd like, or the face line. And so far, what we have is essentially something like this. I don't like the sharp edge that's happening right here, so I'm going to erase it and make it a little bit more curved, like that. Okay? And that's the basic shape overall of the ear. Now, the fun part is to go back in and do all the shading, and that's what makes it look really, really nice. You can place the ear canal or the hole in here, because that's typically going to be covered by this piece of flesh. I don't know any of the technical terms for this stuff, but and then there's a bunch of shadows being cast on the ear if the sun is coming down. Typically, I'll do something like draw a light line like that, and I can just shade that in real nice and light. And then similar to that, I'll do this one here, and I'll shade this in nice and light, just until I think it looks good. I'll probably put some more dark shading up here, okay, like that. And then we will kind of do the same shading along the edge of the ear. So you can come along, I'll draw these lines all the way around a little bit, and then come down to here. And as you go down the ear, there's less of a shadow being cast, so the shadow's going to get that's going to get smaller and smaller, and it's going to get closer to this other line. So I got these shadows I'm going to place in here, just very lightly coloring these in. I made a mistake, that's okay. This eraser is terrible. Okay, and then I'm going to color, or not color, but I'm going to shade in this part of the ear. This is kind of like a concave shape of the ear. It's a very odd shape. So you can just I'm kind of trying to follow the shape of what that part of the ear looks like. And I'm just doing that with some swooshy lines. And then I'm going to come back and darken this up even further. And you can bring the shadow up on the side here just a little bit. This is almost like a tube here. So what'll help make that believable is if you bring it up on the other side as well, like so. You do a little bit of shadow down here on the bottom because it's being cast from the top. Give a little indication of that bump that was there, that circle that we used to make the part of the ear. Okay, and maybe something a little bit down here, some shadow, and then you just kind of play around. You just touch it up. So we'll go back, turn my paper all the way around. We'll go back, and we'll put this line in nice and dark. And it can be really, and like like I said, a lopsided shape or kind of not, it doesn't have to be, it's actually better if it's not a perfect oval. Because again, the ear is very organic. So you've got these bumps and these nodules, and every ear is different. So you can make yours look however you'd like. And I think that's gonna about do it for the side view of the ear. Again, you can go back and touch up wherever you think you need to, make some things darker if you'd like. But that looks like an ear to me. Maybe a few more erasing areas here. And then go back and clean it up again, or darken it up, I should say. Okay. So there's the front view, or I'm sorry, the side view of the ear. The front view is even more bizarre. So for the front view, and it depends really on whether or not you're looking at the head straight on. So if this is your head, are you looking at it straight on? Or are they looking to the right, or their left, I guess? Or to their right? That's going to make a big difference on how much of the ear you see. See, they're going to be kind of thing. So what you want to do is, if it's straight on, I'll typically have the side of my head, whatever that will look like. If I'm drawing the face, it's going to be, this will be their right ear. So as if we're looking at them, it's going to be on the left side. And then I will come off of here with a similar kind of shape, but it's going to be much, much narrower than it was here. Something like that, maybe. And then for this part of the ear, we're going to put that little half circle in right there. So, okay. And then we can do a slight small curve to indicate this part right here. And this is going to kind of come up and back around onto the top. And color that in. Okay. And this is actually, all right, this is what needs to happen. This part, this Y-looking shape, actually comes out, and when you're looking at the front of the ear, a lot of times it'll overlap the edge. So you can come out with the ear like that, and then to come down here with the bottom of the earlobe, but this shape kind of comes up and around like that. And then again, you can add your shadows, darken them up, and everything. But essentially, that's what the side, or I'm sorry, that's what the front of the ear looks like. This is the front, or this is the front, this is the side. I keep getting those backwards. Okay, so ears, like I said, are extremely difficult. I could use some practice on them. And so don't be afraid to use a reference if you need to. But there's my ears. I hope this was helpful and informative.
So that was drawing the ear, not only from the side view, but also from the front view. And it was pretty challenging. I hope you were able to follow along, and whatever you have on your paper resembles an ear. And if it doesn't, that's okay. Just keep trying, just keep practicing. And again, the ear is so complex that a reference photo would really be helpful. So if you didn't do that, I highly recommend it. I also highly recommend that you subscribe, like, and get notified for new videos, because I'm going to be releasing new drawing videos coming up. And not nude, new. Get your mind out of the gutter. So look for a video on drawing the mouth and drawing the nose and whatever else you guys might want to see. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video. from the side, the process on. Don't forget to subscribe.